Saving money can be difficult because at least you've got bills to pay, and like many people, you may be living paycheck to paycheck. Deep down, you've been meaning to save money or probably more money. Sometimes the hardest thing about saving money is just getting started. When it comes to sticking to your budget and managing your finances, there seems to be a whole lot of advice out there from a lot of people, ranging from a bulk of personal finance apps and online how-to articles. Everyone seems to have words of wisdom about how to manage your money. But of course, the person who's really in control of your finances is you. Your spending choices totally depend on what you decide to prioritize in your life, whether that's saving for a home, supporting a family, traveling the world, starting a business, or saving for retirement. Building habits that drives you towards the path of saving money and becoming financially smart has never really been easy, but this video simplifies everything you would need to know on how to start saving your money. Welcome. Number 1. Start tracking your spending. Tracking your spending helps you identify specific areas where you may be overspending. So possibly after evaluating and identifying your spending loopholes, you then create and possibly try to confine your spending to a budget. The budget now allows you to prioritize the important areas and cut back on unnecessary expenses. In our today's world, credit cards seems to be one of the biggest contributor to unhealthy spending habits, mainly because it's quite easy to swipe the card and lose track of how the expenses are adding up. But by reviewing your spending regularly, you can track exactly where your money goes and where you might need to trim back. You might find yourself surprised at how much you spend on miscellaneous regularly. Number 2. Set saving goals. Saving is all about setting aside money for a purpose, so it's important to know what you're saving the money for. That's why it's a brilliant idea to set financial goals. Specific goals can help you stay focused and target your savings. Getting specific about what you're saving for will help you come up with the intended amount of money you'd be saving. It will also help you stay focused on reaching your goal. Now, let's put this into perspective. Imagine an empty jar. Each week you put your change into it. Maybe you wrote on the lid of the jar, "Eating out fund." Slowly, as the coins add up, you get closer to your goal of treating yourself to a nice meal. Saving is simply a way to put money aside for a goal. How much you save depends on what you're saving for and when you'll need the money. Number 3. Reduce your expenses. Setting financial goals without making plans to reduce your expenses might not really make things better. The first action to reducing your expenses is to track your expenses and break them out between discretionary and non-discretionary expenses. It doesn't matter how hard you try reducing your expenses. The thing is, there are certain expenses that will never go away completely, because at least you must eat, pay rent, you would need to get to and from work, and maybe sometimes get some new clothing. Therefore, you should spend most of your energy on finding ways to reduce those expenses you have more control over. To cut back on unnecessary spending, examine your expenses. Label each one as a need or want, that is. Either you need it to survive or you want it, but it's just an extra. Focus your attention on the wants. Choose to reduce or cut out, for example. Instead of dining out twice a week, you commit to once a week. Or instead of coffee out every day, try out twice a week. Put those extra monies into a savings account that earns interest. The interest rate might seem little, but don't worry, it would add up with time. Focusing on the largest and the most important expenses such as housing, transportation, and food can give you the fastest results, but also may require more of a commitment. For example, reducing housing costs may mean downsizing, opting for a roommate, or renting out a room on Airbnb. Reducing transportation costs can mean using public transportation when possible, or walking or biking. Reducing food costs can mean buying whole foods and fewer packaged foods. Though buying packaged foods can also reduce restaurant or takeout spending on those nights you feel lazy cooking. So you may not want to say no completely. Additionally, buying certain staples in bulk could be cost-effective. When eating out, you can look at menus ahead of time to choose a place that's within your budget and see if there are any online coupons. For utilities, you want to be comfortable, but also be aware of how your electric, gas, heating, and cooling bills add up. When not in use, turn off the lights or turn down the heating or cooling if it's not necessary. You can also try to negotiate your bills, ranging from your rent, phone bills, internet, and more. Number 4. Build an emergency fund. Having a reserve fund for financial shocks can help you avoid relying on other forms of credit or loans that can turn into debt. While emergencies can occur at any time, your regular expenses do not stop, so it is only wise to set aside some portion of your income into your emergency account. An emergency fund should typically be in a multiple of 3 to 6 times your regular and unavoidable monthly expenses. This can help you in your time of need without having to rely on any debt. Number 5. Avoid impulse spending and practice. Delayed gratification. Impulse spending is a tendency to make inessential purchases for immediate gratification, often leading to regrets later on. It's a bad money habit that can wreak havoc on your budget and hinder your financial goals. The 24-hour rule is a simple strategy to help battle impulsive spending. When you're tempted to buy something that isn't a necessity, wait 24 hours before making the purchase. During this time, ask yourself if the purchase aligns with your financial goals, as well as whether you have a genuine desire for it or were just tempted in the moment. Often, after the initial impulse passes, you'll find that you're comfortable with foregoing the purchase, saving you money, and preventing buyer's remorse. Number 6. Automate your savings. Saving regularly is a great thing to do, but it's also easy to forget. Unless you're extremely good at remembering things, it could be worth automating your savings. By this we mean setting up a direct debit transfer going from your current or regular account to your savings account. That way, you don't need to think about it. The money goes in automatically, so you can relax and focus on other things whilst your savings account gets fed. For example, let's say you earn $2,000 each month. Instead of building your budget on that $2,000, automating your savings helps you create a spending plan based on a smaller number. If you automatically deposit 10% of that, in other words, $200 into a savings account each month, you'll teach yourself to live on $1,800. Then, as your income grows, you can continue to put aside 10% of your pay. Later in your career, when you're earning $8,000 each month, you'll be setting aside $800 on a regular basis. Number 7. Consider investments. For long-term financial goals, such as saving for a home or retirement, you can consider making some investment moves, such as buying bonds, mutual funds, investing in real estate, and buying stocks. If you are considering going into any of those, I would highly recommend that you seek professional advice from an expert, so you wouldn't get into the wrong scheme or probably get scammed by fraudulent individuals. According to the words of the most successful investor, Warren Buffett, don't save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. This is to tell that the importance of saving money can never be overemphasized. If you find this content helpful, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and kindly consider dropping your feedback in the comment section. Gracias.